Yo, what's going on, man? Mouse Fortress here, and this is a very short announcement, okay? Please join my Discord, okay? It's called Mouse Fortress 2. It's a pun on Vader's Fortress in Star Wars, you know, his castle on Mustafar. Very cool, right? Very cool. Join in though. There's plenty to talk about. Marvel, Star Wars, DC, anything, you know? So come on in, join, have some fun. We're a family, and yeah, let's chill. Yeah, what's going on, man? It's your boy Darth Mal, aka Mouse Fortress, in the bizay. And this is a little reaction video to the one and the only Critical Drinker, okay? He just dropped it, I think, 2 hours ago, right? But one thing too, sorry about the lighting. It's kind of bad right now because it's daytime. I never film in daytime, which is nuts. I never film in daytime, but this is a big video that I want to break down and watch and see what you have to say about it because I personally believe, and you may know this already, but I personally believe that the show wasn't that bad. Ahsoka, like, wasn't that bad to me. I think it was solid. Like, it could have been better, but it wasn't bad to me, or you know, just not good. I thought it was like good. You know what I'm saying? Like I gave it a 7 out of 10. So yeah, I'm so thirsty. So yeah, dude, I hate this lighting, man. Like, can you make it brighter? Well, but yeah, man. See what else gotta say. That's about it, man. I guess we could just dive right into this video because it's gonna be a long video probably because I talk a lot. I pause and talk a lot. So let's just watch it then. All right. Ahsoka, bad writing. I don't agree with that. Pandering, maybe, and wasted potential. I'm not sure what he means by that part. So let's watch.
To the season finale of Ahsoka, the 4th Disney Plus show in a row that's apparently gonna save Star Wars. Because the—
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Like, I paused not even a minute later. Yeah, this show isn't gonna save Star Wars. That's the dumbest thing ever. Like, I was saying this, I want to say, like a few streams ago, I was saying this, like, the only thing that's gonna save Star Wars is like erasing the sequels, right? Making that not canon, retcon that. But what else? Possibly doing just all movies from now on, like big budget movies, because Star Wars is a franchise that became popular from movies, right? The first 3, the prequels, like TV isn't Star Wars is that's not Star Wars is you know, it wasn't the Kickstarter. It wasn't television. It was film. So that has to happen. So retcon the sequels, go back to movies. And I'd say just take it from there, you know. I guess good writing, good direction, you know, just good Star Wars, like, you know.
The other 3 were just warm-up acts, you see. Ahsoka is where we finally got to see Dave Filoni's creative abilities fully unleashed. And oh boy, what an eye-opening experience it was. If I had to sum up Ahsoka in just one sentence, I'd say it's a show of missed opportunities. Just like its main villain, it was given every resource and advantage it could possibly ask for, and should have pulled off an easy win, but somehow managed to squander every single one with absolutely zero impact, and yet still smugly acted as if it had come out on top. So fold your arms and paste a blank expression onto your face because we're going in hard and fast with this one.
Yeah, let's go.
The basic plotline should be familiar to anyone that watched my previous video, but here goes anyway. Ahsoka is on the tail of a witch named Morgan who plans to use a magical bullshit MacGuffin map to travel to another galaxy using the Eye of Sauron and bring back Grand Admiral Thrawn, who's been stranded there for the past 10 years after the events of Star Wars Rebels. Along the way, she hooks up with a block of wood known as Sabine, who also wants to go to the other galaxy so that she can rescue Ezra Bridger, who got stranded there along with Thrawn. Don't worry though, he's less of a character with his own unique drives and motivations, and more of like a piece of furniture that everyone fights over. Oh yeah, and Hera's also there because she was a character in Rebels. Anyway, it all goes wrong when Sabine gives the magical bullshit map to Morgan, and Ahsoka gets her ass kicked by one of the only interesting characters in the entire show. But that's okay, because she then teleports to a magical get-out-of-jail-free card invented by Dave Filoni and has a hallucination of Anakin. Remember Anakin?
Oh, I hate you.
Or maybe he's a Force ghost. or a fragment of Anakin's consciousness, or Ahsoka's memory of him conjured up by her subconscious mind to try to save her life. I don't really know, and I'm willing to bet that Dave Filoni doesn't know either. It's all down to interpretation.
I think he definitely knows. Like, he didn't just put it in there for no reason. I think he knows.
You see? The important thing I learned from that whole episode is that it's better to choose to be alive than dead. Also, remember Anakin?
No.
Anyway, so then Ahsoka hitches
Who's
a ride
Anakin?
on a giant space whale that takes her across intergalactic space to the exact planet where Thrawn is stranded, because apparently these things travel there on a regular basis.
You serious?
Well, that was lucky, because she would have been kinda fucked otherwise. You know, I've got a few questions about this situation. If the space whales can take you to the exact planet where Thrawn is waiting and back again, then why did Morgan need the Eye of Sauron to get there in the first place? In fact, why did she need the magical bullshit map? Why didn't Thrawn use the space whales to get back to his own galaxy all by himself? I mean,
How was Thrawn gonna use the space whales, though? How would Thrawn use the space whales? Thrawn has no force, right? He can't just use his powers. Well, he doesn't have any powers, right? He can't just use his power to speak to the whales like Ahsoka did. That's the only reason Ahsoka even did that, or was able to get to the galaxy, right? Because she had the force, and she used the force. She used force communication, so she force communicated with the whales, and that's how she got to the new galaxy. Thrawn could not. Like, why would Thrawn even think of doing that? Like, how would Thrawn even do that?
he's supposed to be the smartest guy in the universe or something. You think he would have found a way to make that happen after 10 years?
This kind of
How?
shit is without doubt Dave Filoni's biggest problem as a writer. Well, apart from his complete inability to write interesting dialogue, or craft stories that are more than just fetch quest for magical MacGuffins, or create people who actually make smart decisions, or his borderline fetish for the boring, mediocre character he's trying so hard to insert as the driving force behind the entire Star Wars narrative. No, it's his constant.
I mean, everyone loves Ahsoka, though, bro. Yeah, like, everyone loves Ahsoka, bro. I mean, it is what it is. Like, everyone loves that character. This is, I mean, it is what it is. Like, there are more entertaining characters in Star Wars, like Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan, Anakin. Like, they're more enjoyable to watch than Ahsoka, but she's a popular character, and she really isn't that bad to me. Ain't that bad to me. There are far more boring characters in Star Wars to me, like Andor, for example. Andor is a very boring character. I don't care about Andor, right? Let's see. Boba Fett. Well, Disney Boba Fett. Okay, not Boba Fett from the old canon. New canon Boba Fett from Disney is boring. He's really bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Around and retconning of past events and world building to suit the needs of his own narrow story. It's like he's staying in a hotel room for a couple of days and decided that he now has the right to completely remodel the place because he feels like it. This isn't your job,
That scene was crazy.
Dave. You're supposed to work within the rules of the world that George created, not write a whole bunch of new ones just to suit yourself that
Almost just died from drinking water. Isn't that crazy?
now affect everyone else.
Whatever. So they get to the planet and
Hey, it's a little brighter in here. Nice.
Sabine gets reunited with Ezra in the most stale, boring, emotionless reunion scene that I've ever witnessed on screen.
Wouldn't want to have our characters display genuine human emotion or vulnerability even for a second, eh?
Then Ahsoka shows up and they have a bunch of pointless fight scenes which almost always end in a draw before the plot decides that it's time to wrap this shit up. So Thrawn leaves with the Eye of Sauron and there's more fighting and these Red Witch ladies turn dead stormtroopers into zombies for some reason, and then Thrawn returns to his own
For some
galaxy with
reason.
Ezra on board, and Sabine and Ahsoka are left stranded on the planet in a different galaxy. Because
Yeah.
I guess they just kind of forgot that they can hitch a ride on the next pod of space whales that show up. Oh, and Balin
The whales aren't there, though, so they can't even do that. The whales aren't there.
teleports into Lord of the Rings so that he can stare at Mount Doom for a while, and the series ends with a final shot of Force Ghost Anakin. Remember Anakin? Actually, I
Okay, so this is where I'm not gonna, like, go for it, right? Why is it so bad that Anakin's coming back? Don't fans want that? This is what fans have wanted for years. And it's like, now that we're getting it, some fans are complaining about it. That makes no sense to me. It's like, do you want Anakin or do you not want him? Like, pick one. Because I guarantee you, if he was not in this show, people would be like, oh, where's Anakin at? Why is Anakin in the show? Come on. Y'all know that's true. Y'all know that's true. I'm telling you, it's just like, I think a lot of guys are just really hurt by Disney, and they don't think that anything they do. Yeah, they don't think that anything they do is just good enough. And I get that. I mean, I get that, but it's like you got to be able to just like separate the okay from the bad, or the good from the bad, right? Because instead, a lot of guys in here are just finding any reason to crap on anything they do, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm a fair reviewer. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I prefer to imagine
Do I hate
that it's
loud
really just
cars?
Hayden Christensen smirking about the whole thing because he knows that every time Disney makes another shitty Star Wars show, the prequel trilogy goes up just a little bit higher in everyone's collective memory.
I ain't lying.
What an absolute shit show this was. I mean, I can't say I expected much from it after the first couple of episodes, but Jesus, somehow it found a way to sink even lower. Nothing that happens in this absolute calamity makes any sense, so it's probably for the best that very little actually happens at all. The only thing that's really changed by the end is that the characters have effectively swapped places. Thrawn and Ezra are back in their home galaxy, while Sabine and Ahsoka are stranded in the other one. Nobody really learns anything, or grows, or changes into a better person in the course of the story.
That's just incorrect. Like, Ahsoka had a whole entire arc in this whole entire show. I disagree with that. Let me see. Sabine definitely changed a little bit. Like her using the Force aside, she did change a little bit because her finding Ezra made her a lot more I guess positive and hopeful. Hera did not change, you're right. Now Ezra didn't need to change because he changed, of course, but he was lost. So he didn't really have to, he doesn't have an arc yet. This is his arc beginning. His arc is just beginning. So yeah, I don't what were you expecting?
Sabine is just as much of a smug, boring arsehole as she was at the beginning.
Right, yeah, she didn't change that much.
Who's absolutely determined not to show any emotional range.
Yeah, she didn't change that much. Like, she got a little bit more happy when they found Ezra, but that was it.
Whatsoever.
Smug mode.
Ahsoka is the same bland, humorless, charmless non-entity who walks around extremely slowly, crosses her arms occasionally, and stares at things with great deliberation.
That's what she does, bro. She's been doing that for years. Like, do y'all not know her character? This is what she does. Honestly, it's like she was never this expressive character. She was like, what is going on right now? Y'all like she was just like freaking Monkey D. Luffy or Goku or Naruto or something like that. She was never like that. She was always like this. She was always like that. Now, as a child, she did have a little more expression because she was a kid, though. She was a child. Of course, she's a child. You have more emotion as a child. But as she got older, she got mature. She got very mature. Like, what is going on here right now? I never understand the Ahsoka is boring complaints. Like, she's always been this way. For the most part, she's always been this way. Now, Drinker, I love you, bro. Like, you make amazing videos, amazing reviews, bro. But this one, I just can't agree with, bro. I can't agree with this one. I can't agree with this one.
Only to spout the most simplistic and obvious dialogue that would make a 12-year-old fanfiction writer cringe. She supposedly goes through some kind of spiritual reawakening about the midpoint of the season, but really the only change that comes about is that she's dressed in different clothes afterwards.
No, that's not what happens.
Hell, remember when character development was a thing? Ezra barely even qualifies.
So it's okay. So it just seems like Drinker just isn't agreeing or acknowledging her development because she had development. She had development. Like, it's right there. It's right there. Like, so this is a test, right, for you, whoever's watching. Watch episode 1 of Ahsoka, because that one's pretty long. Watch episode 1 of Ahsoka and compare it to episode, I don't know, like 7 or 8 of Ahsoka. And just compare her personality and her demeanor and her dialogue. I promise you, she's different. She's different.
As a character, he's just there to do whatever the others tell him to. He happily goes along with every plan, has absolutely no agency or independent thoughts, and never questions anything. In other words, he's a perfect male hero for any modern Disney Star Wars production.
That's kind of how Ezra is, though. Ezra was never a leader. Was he ever a leader? He was never. He was never a leader. So I don't know what you're expecting. Ezra was never a leader type character ever, ever.
Damn, man, I can't imagine how crushingly disappointing it must have been for Rebels.
In fact, him doing what he did at the end of Rebels was the biggest thing he ever did. Like that was his first, in my opinion, his first like big like leadership heroic moment was when he did that. That was huge. Like he was never some kind of just hero. He was never like that.
Fans to finally see Ezra and Sabine reunited after 10 years, and all they get is, "Hey, how's it going?"
They hugged. Didn't they hug?
This is not how human beings are supposed to act. And the thing is, there's a ton of stuff you could have done with these characters if you were a half-decent writer. Ahsoka could have been genuinely tempted by the power of the dark side, just like her former master, struggling to keep anger and vengeance from getting the better of her, especially after losing a battle against Balin and almost dying in the process.
Sorry, I just sneezed. What? See, now I gotta say it again. It's like, do you know the character or not? Because it's like, Ahsoka isn't a character who's like, who would ever have trouble with dealing with the dark side, ever. She was always level-headed. Like Obi-Wan. Like, she was never, like, once tempted to go to the dark side, ever. She's never shown any signs of that. She would never do that. She's way too experienced, way too trained for that, right? Now, if this was like, I don't know, 12-year-old Ahsoka, that's more possible. But she's an older, mature Jedi now. Like, she's so experienced, bro. Not to mention what happened to her master. Like, why would she even think twice about going to the dark side? Like, what?
Or maybe she's getting older now, and she's very conscious that she's no longer a Jedi at her full potential, but she has to rally herself to go on this one last desperate mission. It would also help.
Now, that would be cool. That would be cool. But, I mean, she ain't that old, bro. She ain't as old as freaking Ben Kenobi was in A New Hope. Like, she's like, what, in her 40s probably? Like, she ain't that old.
To explain why she's so fucking slow during the fight scenes. I mean, it's not exactly original.
Nah, I give you that. Anything about choreography, you can have it, bro. Go ahead.
No, but it's something at least. Sabine could have been a hot-headed, impulsive wildcard who tries to do everything by herself and fails disastrously, and slowly has to learn to trust and cooperate with others. The show gives us little hints of this kind of character with dialogue, but then it shows us the exact opposite, and it creates this weird disconnect.
This video too is dropping today. Like, I'm dropping it right now after I'm done recording. I'm dropping it like instantly after I'm done.
Ezra could have been a driven, intense warrior after spending 10 years fighting to survive on a hostile planet. He might even have been angry that Sabine risked the fate of the entire galaxy just to come after him when he literally sacrificed everything to stop
Now that would, yes, you're right about that. I'll give you that. I will give you that. It was kind of dumb that Sabine never just brought up how these freaking cars, bro. It was kind of dumb that Sabine never brought up how she actually got there and what she had to do. And it would have been cool to see some kind of conflict, you know, between Ezra and Sabine. But maybe we'll still get it. Who knows? Like, we might still get it later on. Because it is, you know, he did just come back. So, who knows? We'll see. But that should have happened. You're right. That should have happened.
On once already.
I mean, God forbid you have a male character that shows just a tiny bit of backbone.
On that subject, actually, it's nice to see the classic Disney two-tier morality system at play in this show. Like, Sabine literally gives up the only thing that could stop Thrawn from returning and launching a genocidal war against the entire galaxy, all to save one man that she personally.
People just, I swear, people just love riding loud vehicles for no reason, bro. Like, the louder the car is, the more hype they just feel, I guess. Like, the more important they feel. It is so irritating, bro. Like, what?
Personally cares about, it wouldn't be particularly hard to argue that her actions were morally reprehensible, and every subsequent death in the Star Wars universe is completely her responsibility, but she's never once called out on her selfish bullshit. It's just totally hand-waved away as a justified and completely acceptable decision. Or how about when Hera disobeys direct orders from superior officers and launches.
But that what Sabine did, though. It's like, does that make the entire show bad, though? Like, is the show perfect? No. Does it have some very dumb things in it? Yes. But as a whole, it's not bad to me. It's just not bad. Like, her being that dumb sometimes isn't enough to make the whole thing bad. It's just not.
She's an unsanctioned mission into enemy territory that gets several people killed, and then falsifies official instructions to cover her own arse.
And you protected the New Republic by ignoring direct orders.
No, I protected the New Republic by ignoring you.
She gets nothing but a wink wink, I know what you did and I'm totally cool with it from Mon Mothma, whereas Poe Dameron did the exact same thing in TLJ, but actually accomplished a lot more than Hera, and got a slap in the face and an instant demotion for his troubles.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure, I guess stuff like this is okay when a woman does it. Wouldn't want to hold them accountable for their own actions or anything, would we? I say
Yeah, that's just bad writing, though, I would say, from The Last Jedi's part. Like, that's just bad writing. That's just bad writing.
before that Ahsoka is a show of missed opportunities, and no character personifies this problem more than Thrawn himself. A villain that's been built up relentlessly as the Thanos of the Star Wars universe,
Right,
but when he
yeah.
actually waddles onto the screen in his cheap, badly fitting uniform and beer gut, he's about as intimidating as a fucking plush toy. He consistently makes terrible tactical decisions, squanders his vastly superior forces by feeding them piecemeal into the battle, withdraws for no reason when he's got the heroes dead to rights on multiple occasions, and constantly delays his escape to give them time to catch up to him. His entire presence in this show is nothing but a constant stream of blunders and costly defeats, but he somehow acts like he's some grand strategist who always intended for it to play out this way. As little
Because it did. He did. Thrawn's plan was never to, like, you know, defeat his enemies. No, his plan was to leave that planet and galaxy and get to the main galaxy. That's always been Thrawn's plan. That's why Thrawn wasn't as, you know, intimidating as y'all want him to be, because, like, he wasn't trying to be as hostile. Like, he saw Ahsoka in them as just, like, fleas, pretty much. Like that's why he sent the troopers to go try and kill him. Like, they were in the way of him getting back to the galaxy, but it's like, he wasn't concerned about them, though. He wanted to leave. That was his main goal, was to leave. That's all he wanted to do was leave, bro. Like, that was the thing. We will see more of Thrawn in the future. Thrawn will come back. He'll be back in Dave's movie, you know what I'm saying? Like, Thrawn will be back, and he'll be way more, you know, threatening. I mean, I hope. Way more threatening in that movie. But, like, this was just a tiny, insy bitty, tiny piece of what Thrawn has to come. Or what has to come with Thrawn. Like, that's what it is, like.
Platoon so rightly pointed out, he's a stupid person's idea of what a smart person should be, doing incredibly dumb things hidden behind a thin veneer of cool, composed intellectualism. Personally though, I think he's a perfect metaphor for your average Hollywood screenwriter, someone who constantly manages to fail upwards, spinning every flop and disaster into a subtly orchestrated victory, and deluded into believing their own hype by years of echo chamber isolation. And I know this is a purely aesthetic thing, but Jesus, even the fight scenes look like absolute dog shit. Almost nobody can move or fight with anything approaching competence, and Rosario Dawson is probably the worst offender. She's only 44, but she moves like a 60-year-old.
She's the worst? No, Sabine is by far the worst in the show, like, fighting-wise. Heck, you know, like, you are dead wrong about that, bro. Sabine was by far the worst person who fought in the show.
Slow and stiff and uncoordinated.
Look at this, look.
You can tell how hard she's having to work just to keep up with the basic fight choreography.
Look at that, bro, like,
and it's made even. You can tell how
look at Sabine doing this right here, right?
hard she's having to
Watch this next shot with Ahsoka. Sabine ain't doing nothing like that ever. Look at this.
work just to keep up with the basic
Look
fight
at that.
choreography, and it's made even worse when she's matched up against actors who actually know what they're doing.
Right.
Hayden Christensen runs rings around her, and you can
He
tell he's
was.
having to do the bulk of the work just to make the fight look halfway interesting. Diana Inasato's a martial arts
Yeah, Hayden definitely had to slow himself down. Definitely.
expert, and even though she's more than a decade older, she's so much faster and more coordinated that it's almost embarrassing watching them square off.
But I mean, bro, she's a freaking goddaughter of Bruce Lee. What do you expect? Like, what? She's had training. Rosario hasn't had nearly enough training. It's simple as that. She hasn't had enough training.
All of this stuff, the stupidity masquerading as intelligence, the gaping plot holes, the world-breaking new technology and plot devices, the lazy and simplistic fight scenes,
Yes.
the complete lack of emotional chemistry, the glacially slow pace, and the shameless exploitation of characters and events from far more competent productions all adds up to a show that's just as shitty.
Why are we complaining about Anakin? This is so dumb to me, okay? Like, I'm sorry, but the dumbest complaint in this entire video is Anakin. Like, that's the one thing in the show you should not be complaining about. That makes no sense, right? That's like me having a whole full course buffet of complete crap, and the one amazing dish I get is like, I don't know, let's say pizza, right? And I'm complaining that the pizza is like there, that it's bad. Like, why is this here if it's all crap here? Like, you know, that's what that is. Like, why would I complain about having good food when the entire buffet is just crap? Like, I'm not saying Ahsoka's crap. I'm just saying best thing in the show wasn't Anakin. Like, why would you complain about that? That makes no sense to me.
And forgettable as everything else that Disney Lucasfilm have made. Ahsoka is a show for people who like the idea of Star Wars rather than the reality. People whose collective memory and understanding of the world that George Lucas created extends roughly as far back as the last forgettable Star Wars TV show sharted out onto Disney+. People who'll clap and cheer and cry like complete idiots at the appearance of something vaguely familiar without pausing for even a second to question why it's there or what the point of it is. It's a perfect example of the old red letter media meme.
Don't ask questions.
I love that.
Consume product and then get excited for next product.
And now that it has been consumed,
I love
the
that.
people who pretended to love it with such wild hysteria will forget
Pretended to love it. So people are like faking their enjoyment to like the show. That's crazy.
about it just as quickly as every other shitty Star Wars show that's come and gone over the past few years. And maybe that's the idea. Maybe these are the kind of brain-dead simpletons that Disney want to cultivate as fans now. People that will accept any old slop that you serve up because they've lost the ability or the will to expect anything better. And if so, fuck it, they're
I think some are like that, but I mean, you know, it is what it is, I guess.
welcome to it because I don't give a shit anymore. Star Wars is dead and Dave Filoni did not bring it back.
No, he didn't.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Well, that's the video, guys. Like I said, honestly, it's like, okay, a few things before I end the video. Anyone who thought Dave was gonna save Star Wars are an idiot. You're a complete and utter idiot. A show alone isn't gonna save Star Wars, let alone a show by her. That's dumb. Like, it's gonna take a lot more than that to save Star Wars. Let's see what else. This show as a whole, it's like, it wasn't perfect to me. It wasn't perfect, but it was solid. I'll take it. I will take a solid series over bad stuff that we've been getting before it. You know, like Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, like Mando season 3, like the sequels. Like, this show craps on all of that stuff, and I will take that. I will take it and enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I would ask you, like, what do you want in Star Wars to be like good? Like, what would be good to you in Star Wars? What would bring it back for you? It's like, you know, to me, it would just it'd be a lot. Probably have to be some movies, probably, starring more important characters like Andor. Like, why would you make a show about Andor? That's so stupid. But that's besides the point. Like, yeah, I didn't think the show was that bad. It was, the whole thing to me was like a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10, definitely. Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't perfect, but it was alright. So yeah, that's it for me. Let's do a like goal. Like goal is 20 likes, man. Please, 20 likes, help me out. That'd be great. Donate here in my Cash App. Donate, please. Anything helps out, even a penny. And that's it for me, man. I'm out. Peace.